Okay, so we are up to day 150 out of 200, so we're getting there. So the quote for today says, "The only place where success comes from work is in the dictionary." How will you know when you're successful? What is your vision for a successful life? So if you're following along, just take a minute to think about your response for this, and let's see what I wrote. So I said, I don't have a vision for a successful life. If I did, I know it would probably be different from how most people would measure success. For some reason, I have no ambition to make a lot of money. Like, I know I need money to survive, and I do like to have some nice things, but career decisions and ideas for what I want to do in the future never revolve around making money. And yeah, I don't know if I wrote about this that much, but like, I've had so many people in my life that like seem to imply that I'm wasting my talents somehow on not doing things to make a lot of money. I think they like see my background and everything, and are like, why aren't you, you could be making so much money doing this or that or this, and you know about all this stuff. You could get a job and make a lot of money. And I just don't, that's not my goal. Like, I would rather just be happy doing something that I enjoy than making a lot of money. And like right now, I feel like I'm comfortable in the amount of money that I'm making. And there's just so many people that just have this, like, all they think about is money, 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 money. And I don't know. It's unfortunate because I think there's probably a lot of people who could do a lot of good in the world that don't have the money or means to do it. And it's just, I think it's unfortunate that like people are just valued on their ability to make money. And I don't know. I don't like that. Like, me and a friend of mine, like my friend, he's always just thinking about like, okay, what can I do to make money? Oh, this will make this much money. And all of my ideas are like not things that would make me a ton of money, but just either things that would make me happy or things that would be something good to do. But anyway, I said, I'm fortunate that money has never been a major issue for me. Even though there were times that I struggled, I always felt like I could get by with less if I needed to. So yeah, like there was definitely like one point in my life that I was really struggling. Like I was to the point that I was like trying to see what I could sell just to, you know, get gas money and things like that. Like I really had very little money, but at the same time, I felt like I never felt like that stressed about it because I knew in the back of my mind that if I absolutely needed to, I felt like I did have family that I could fall back on. Like if I didn't have a place to live, if I couldn't afford my rent, I knew that like I could come stay with my grandparents, you know, or I knew that I had these other options. So I always did kind of feel like I had a little bit of a cushion, even though like me myself, I was struggling at the time. And I know I'm lucky to have had that. And same thing with how I'm living right now, because, you know, in 2020, I moved out of my apartment and moved back into my grandparents' house or moved into my grandparents' house. And, you know, since then, I've been seeing people post on social media about how rents are going crazy and, you know, all of that. And so that's something that a lot of people are worried about, that I don't really have that worry. My property taxes did go up this year, but I mean, it's still substantially less than what I would be paying for rent. So, so yeah, that's something I'm pretty fortunate with. I said, thankfully, I have an education and lots of varied job experience, so I don't think there's any way to not meet my own standard of success. and yeah, that goes back to, because my standard of success is lower than a lot of people. So I know if I had to, I've worked so many jobs in so many different fields that I feel like if I did lose my job or, you know, want to do something else, and that time that I was really struggling, it was when I was just getting like a very small stipend for being a research assistant. And I was also doing like an internship that was unpaid. And so, yeah, but I knew in the back of my mind, even though I was struggling doing that, I was like, well, if I had to, I could just quit my program and just get a job, you know, get a job where I'm making more money. Because I do have so much experience, you know, if I had to, I could go be a server or, you know, just work to get enough money to get by. And I also wasn't averse to living in my car at one point. There was one point that I was just like, well, if I had to live in my car, I would figure out a way to do it. I was watching a bunch of videos about, you know, people who were like living in vans, and it wasn't even like the stereotypical van life videos. I was watching more of like the realistic ones, and I was like, you know, if I had to, I could do that. You know, I was like, I've got an office at work to, you know, I was like, I'm lucky to have this office where if I needed to have like a hot plate and cook at work, you know, I had access to showers at the university. I was like, I could make that work if I needed to. But yeah. Anyway, I said, now that I think about it, I guess my view of success is just making enough to meet your basic needs with just a little more to allow security and freedom to continue to learn and grow. And I said, overall, I guess success for me is whatever allows me to have freedom. So, yeah. And to me, like I said, even if that was just, you know, living in my car and like making things work, I guess that was still freedom to me. And it is something I would do if I needed to, but it's just kind of unfortunate that we live in a world where that is what a lot of people are having to turn to, and people that don't want to. And thankfully I'm like, you know, single and don't have kids. I could see that being like harder, you know, if you had to worry about, you know, taking care of your kids and everything. So yeah, but I don't know. I guess overall, I don't know what it would take to be, to me, like I said, just being successful is just, you know, getting your basic needs met and just trying to be as content as you can in your life. I understand people want to have nice things and everything, you know, I do too. Like if it's possible, you know, obviously I buy things and try to make myself as comfortable as I'm able to, but I don't know. I don't think I have to have like the nicest car on the lot or the nicest clothes or this or that to be successful. My view, a lot of people view that being successful in terms of like tangible things and the things that you can buy. And so yeah, like you do have to have some limited, like some amount of things to be successful, you know, a home and food and some form of clothing and, you know, at this point, like a phone and access to the internet. But I don't think you have to have like so much stuff that a lot of people think that you have to be successful. In my view, like that's just how I feel success is. It's just kind of, I don't know, living the best life you can and trying to be happy with it, which seems to be a trend in what I've been saying the last couple days. So, yeah, I mean, I have this fear in the back of my mind that that's going to get me in trouble, like not valuing money as much as I could and not working as hard as I can right now at this point in my life to make as much money as I can, you know, because a lot of people say, oh, well, just work hard when you're young and then save up money and then you can retire when you're older. And So I do fear that like maybe I'm not saving as much as I should be, and maybe I'm not like working to make as much money as I should right now to be secure later in life. So I may, maybe later in my life I'll regret this, but for now, this is how I feel, I guess. So I will be back tomorrow with day 151.